Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am here to give you my WWE Monday Night Raw review for March 9th, 2015. The reason why I haven't actually started making the video, I watched. The reason why this video is probably not going to be uploaded on Monday is because I had to watch the John Cena thing, so that took some time out of the chance I had to make the video. So that would kind of be why. And be honest with you, I thought Raw was a good show, but it was kind of odd in a way, and I'm going to tell you why when I get there. So, we get JBL, Michael Cole, and Booker T on commentary. And then we get like an authority promo. Randy Orton comes out. Everybody's out there except for Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Triple H actually wasn't even on Raw tonight. But we have Big Show, Seth Rollins, Corporate Kane, and J&J Security, which consists of Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. And Kane said that he had his doubts about him joining the Authority, but now we know it's official, so we are going to officially welcome you back to the Authority. And then Big Show says that you and I go back a long time, and I am going to also welcome you back to the Authority. And Jamie Noble doesn't trust Randy Orton. He thinks he's just playing them, so that way he can get to Seth Rollins. And then Seth Rollins says, makes fun of Jamie Noble, says, "You're just being paranoid. And are you upset that he RKO'd you?" I thought that was funny. And then he tells Joey Mercury to talk, and he doesn't say anything. And Seth Rollins thinks it's great because the fans probably thought that he was just going to turn on them and everything was going to be all fine. But no, they were able to work together, and him and Randy Orton are going to team up tonight to face Roman Reigns because that match was already going to happen. And they shake hands, and then Randy Orton says, "What happened to the Authority? This used to be a great group. We didn't care. But now, well, Kane, you used to be the devil's favorite demon, but right now, you would kick names, you would kick people's ass and take names, but now all you do is kiss people's ass and get coffee." I thought that was awesome. And Seth Rollins, before Randy Orton grabbed the mic, had said something to Big Show, like he's like a big loser or something, and Big Show got in his face. And Big Show, he says Big Show is not the Giant. He insults Big Show. I forget what he says about Big Show. And then he insults Jamie Noble. Says, "I understand you don't trust me. What, you don't like me or something?" And he says, "I bet you're upset because I can get onto all the rides in Disneyland because I'm actually tall enough, and you're not." And he says, "Don't worry, my 8-year-old daughter has the same problem." I thought that was awesome. I don't remember what he says about Joey Mercury. And then he says to Seth Rollins that I've just been buying my time. Don't think I forgot what you did to me months ago. I haven't forgotten, and I'm just buying my time. And when everybody's been taken out, I'm going to take you out. So everyone's like really scared. But Randy Orton says, "I'm just kidding around." And Seth Rollins laughs. And Seth Rollins, starts going off saying, "Come on, he was just playing around. It's okay." And they all say it's best for business, and Corporate Kane's just pissed off. So that was the start of the show. I thought it was actually a pretty good start. I actually didn't know what was going to happen here, so I thought it was a good start. They still need to change up the promo. They can't have a promo start off every show, but I've gotten used to it by now, so it doesn't really bother me. Then we get Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett with R-Truth on commentary. And R-Truth had a burlap sack. Like a bag. And we're going to find out why he had this later. And he talks about how he's negotiating this ladder match. So that way he doesn't have to climb the ladder to get the Intercontinental Championship. And B&B, by the way, didn't have his title still. I'm going to tell you in a second who has B&B's Intercontinental Championship. So this match was actually pretty good. Daniel Bryan wins with the running knee. And then afterwards, B&B lays him out with the ball hammer. And I was wondering why R-Truth wasn't doing anything. But then Dean Ambrose comes out, lays out Barrett. He just clotheslines him. And then Dean Ambrose has a match with Stardust. and Stardust has possession of Bad News Barrett's Intercontinental Championship. And R-Truth was on commentary for this match as well. This was a pretty good match too. It wasn't bad. Dean Ambrose wins with Dirty Deeds. And then Bad News Barrett attacks Ambrose. And during the match too, R-Truth had, by the way, taken the IC title. Well, now BNB lays out Ambrose. Bryan comes out. Then Luke Harper. Then Dolph Ziggler. And as this brawl was going on, R-Truth takes the IC title and he puts it in a bag. And even R-Truth was even talking about how he hasn't stolen any. He's never stolen the championship. It's just that wasn't me. I'm being framed. So JBL was on commentary saying, "Save that video footage. Save it." So then everybody just gets laid out. Stardust lays out Dean Ambrose with Crossroads. Luke Harper. Who else gets laid? Stardust gets laid out somehow. I forget. I think Ziggler super kicks Stardust. Luke Harper clotheslines Ziggler. And then Daniel Bryan hits a running knee on Harper. And then BNB hits the bullhammer. And then Barrett asks for his title back. And R-Truth gives it to him. And then he gets his title back. But R-Truth switched him. It was really like a replica version of the Intercontinental Championship you would like buy online, and R-Truth has the real one. So that's how it ended. I thought that was awesome. R-Truth has been awesome lately in segments. And I'm kind of pissed that Stardust is in the Intercontinental Championship ladder match because I was really enjoying that feud between Goldust and Stardust. And I thought they were going to do some sort of match at Mania, but we haven't even seen Goldust lately. I wonder if they just... I don't know why they backed off on it. I'm going to read into that because it doesn't seem like that they would just back off on that. There has to be a reason. Because we haven't even seen Goldust, so I'm wondering if it's just something sketchy. So other than that... And I hate that the fact that Daniel Bryan's in it, because last year he was like in the main event, and now he's nothing. Well, he's not nothing, but he's in the mid-card now. So now, they're going to start this new system for the Hall of Fame because they're going to have another Hall of Famer. And Ultimate Warrior was talking about last year how they're going to have like a Warriors Award. Because he thinks that he talks about how these men and these people are warriors fighting through diseases and all that. So he wants Ultimate Warrior. So they're going to do that and to pay tribute to Ultimate Warrior. And the person that gets it the first year is Connor the Crusher Michalak. I think that's how you say his last name. If you don't know who this kid was, this was the kid that was suffering from pediatric brain cancer, I think it's called. And he was a huge wrestling fan. He was a big Daniel Bryan fan. He wanted to meet Daniel Bryan. All the superstars love him. He actually was a nice kid. Stephanie McMahon described that you just couldn't help yourself but hold him. And it was kind of sad, but it seemed like Connor didn't even care that... he had a disease. He lived his life to the fullest, and I really like that. And you saw people like Daniel Bryan meeting him, AJ Lee when he tells AJ Lee to stop your craziness, Batista, Hulk Hogan, Sheamus and Big Show, Renee Young, just a lot of superstars. Kane had met him at one point. So I'm happy he's going into the Hall of Fame, and they talk about that moment when he went to the WrestleMania 30 because he didn't have much time, very long to live, so they wanted to take him to WrestleMania. And then we find out that he died. I don't remember when, actually. I think it was like April 8th or 7th. It was in April. I think it was like just after WrestleMania. And then it shows his dad in the crowd. I wonder who's going to induct him. I think the only person I can think of is, since he was a huge Daniel Bryan fan, Daniel Bryan and his dad will accept the award. So I thought that was cool. I'm happy he's going into the Hall of Fame. I'm glad they did that. I think it's going to be a traditional thing now with Warriors Trophy. Or award. I forget what it's called. So then Paul Heyman cuts a promo. He plays a video package first showing Roman Reigns when he was in NXT. He talks about how Roman Reigns was working his way up. And when he was on NXT, he gained more of an experience of the WWE. And then it talked about when he joined the Shield, which consisted of himself, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. Talk about how they formed a brothership, and it was all just taken away from him. And then he just adapted, and then he talks about how he won the Royal Rumble, and he says that he's going to take the title from Brock Lesnar. He talks about all the naysayers, all the fans that hate on him. And then Paul Heyman brings out Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes out, and Paul Heyman cut the promo talking about how Roman Reigns may think he can beat Brock Lesnar, but he can't. Because Brock Lesnar is a beast. He's a destroyer. What else does he say? He says a lot of great stuff. He talks about how Brock Lesnar, how the fix is going to probably end, how he knows what goes on backstage, and they're going to probably have Roman Reigns win, and Seth Rollins will cash in. And he says that there's a Montreal screw job. He is going to make sure nobody leaves WrestleMania alive. And he talks about how Brock Lesnar has hostage of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It's not the WWE's anymore. It's Brock Lesnar's. And Paul Heyman talks about how Brock Lesnar could go to the UFC and combine both the WWE and UFC World Heavyweight Championship into one. That would be awesome. I'm glad that he said that. Or he can go to he can go to boxing and combine that championship. And he said that he can beat Floyd Money Mayweather and some other boxer. I forget his name. And he even says that I bet both of them combined don't even weigh as much as you. So then he talked about how he beat up the Rock. When he beat the Rock at SummerSlam, it was just supposed to help get the Rock over, but that wasn't the case. He beat the Rock so bad that he forced the Rock to go to Hollywood. He beat the Undertaker, and the people thought he was just going to be another victim in the Undertaker streak, the 0-22-0, but he ended up destroying the Undertaker so bad, not just a streak, but the Undertaker, that Bray Wyatt has to resurrect him. And then he talked about how he destroyed John Cena, and he said, who did all that? Brock Lesnar. And his mics kept cutting out again, and he even talks about how Paul Heyman was even talking about how people are going to cut my microphone off. You can just come down here and take my microphone, like Roman Reigns can just come down here and take the title from Lesnar. So I thought that was awesome. Great promo by Lesnar. So then Bray Wyatt cuts a promo backstage, and he said that Undertaker needs to find him tonight because he's going to find him or something like that. Actually, it was actually not. It was actually a good promo. So then we get Corporate Kane and Big Show versus Eric Rowan and Ryback. Okay match. They dominate Ryback throughout the majority of the match, and then Eric Rowan gets the hot tag, and Kane's forcing Rowan like down in the ropes, and behind the referee's back, Big Show's gonna knock out Rowan, but he accidentally knocks out Kane. So then Rowan gets the victory. Then afterwards they're arguing. Stephanie McMahon comes out, says, you're representing the Authority. You can't be acting like little children like this. So then she said, maybe, even though Randy Orton is kidding, maybe Big Show, maybe he's right. Maybe you guys aren't the giant and monster like you used to be. So he forces them to get out of the ring, and they kick him out of the building. Well, she kicks them out of the building. I thought this was a pretty good segment. And it sets up for what's going to happen later on tonight. So then The Miz is backstage, and he's talking to Wes Khalifa backstage, how he's this great rapper, but he chooses Mizdow to be a rapper instead, and he has Mizdow rap. It wasn't bad. It furthers the feud a little bit. And then we get another Sheamus video package talking about his return. It was a different one. That's why he wrote it down. Wes Khalifa performed some songs. I didn't really like it. I don't know why they do this. They could have put something else on here instead. Then the Bella Twins, Nikki and Brie, get interviewed, and they talk about how they pretty much plugged the new Flintstones movie. It's about it. They kind of say that they're gonna have a tag team match. It's gonna be them versus AJ Lee and Paige, and they say they're like the greatest tag team divas of all time when they're like the only tag team divas. So I don't get it. So then we get AJ Lee with Paige versus Summer Rae with Cameron and Eva Marie. I think they're doing some sort of group with Summer Rae, Cameron, and Eva Marie, but it's probably going to be like a 3MB kind of group, which is going to consist of Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, and Heath Slater. So I think it's going to be like that. AJ Lee wins with the Black Widow, and then afterwards they do like a fist pump thing because they're like friends, but they're not. They're only friends because they have the same enemy. Thought it was fine. We actually got 2 Diva matches, and it does feel like that's trying to focus back on the Divas division. I hope so. I did talk about in school, I was allowed to pick an article to bring to school, and I picked this, and everybody completely agreed with me that the Divas division should be used better. And they don't even watch wrestling. So then, they talk about Stin's point of view about why he wants to, like, face Triple H. So he talks about, it's not Stin, it's like somebody else playing his voice. It's like a distorted voice. And he talks about how he came to WWE. And he says he was like the face of the WCW. And it was being overrun by people that didn't have the right to be in charge. And he said that he tried to fight him off, but he failed. So then he wanted to come to WWE, and he waited 14 years to get his hands on Triple H. But and he said that he was loyal to WCW, and Triple H is just loyal to himself. And he says that he's going to beat him at WrestleMania, and then that was it. I thought this was great stuff. I really enjoyed this. At least it's something for the build-up. And it actually was something good. It's something different, so I liked it. It's different than Stin just not talking. And he said he waited 14 years to get to Triple H, but that was when I think Stin was in TNA. But so then Rusev and Lana are backstage, and they're going to Rusev's heading backstage to his match like you normally would see. The reason why I'm saying this is because John Cena comes up, and he said, "You're right." And he says he doesn't care if he doesn't get the match at Mania. He might just have to sit this one out because competing at WrestleMania is not a right; it's a privilege. But you have the same reason, because you're here to be in the United States as a privilege, not a right. You're given all the opportunities, food, everything, and you're given the freedom of speech because you're here. But you just abuse it. You say you're the leader of the Russian Federation, but you're doing it all the success in the United States. And I know you have the right to freedom of speech, but if you say anything about the United States tonight, I am going to come out there and destroy you. So I thought that was actually good stuff. It was something different. I actually wasn't expecting this. So then we get Rusev with Lana versus Curtis Axel. Curtis Axel's been in the Royal Rumble now match for 42 days and like something minutes, something seconds. Rusev attacks him before the match, but Curtis Axel wants to continue the match anyways, and then Rusev wins with the accolade in like 2 minutes. And then Rusev wants to talk trash about the United States, but Lana doesn't want him to, but he does it anyways, says that the Americans are always living in the past, referring to Curtis Axel, how he's referencing Hulk Hogan, and he said that when Hulk Hogan was around, Americans were strong, but now we're weak. We always want to negotiate things instead of fighting about them. And then he says that we're spineless, and he said that if we had spines, they'd be made of jello, and if we had souls, God would spit on us. I like this promo here, I really did. And then John Cena comes out, no music or nothing, he runs out, and he puts Cena in a shitty-ass STF. It looked more like he was doing the crossface, but then he fixed it, and then Rusev passes out, so then he throws some water in his face, and then he puts Rusev back in the STF, and Rusev's tapping out, and this forces Lana to agree to accept Cena's challenge to face him at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. So I thought this was actually really good stuff. I am pretty happy about this. It was great. I know, though, the only thing I don't like about it is Rusev is going to get it bad at Mania. So Bray Wyatt's backstage again, and he pretty much says for Undertaker to accept his challenge. It's kind of the gist of it. Rusev's backstage, and him and Lana are talking in Russian. I think Rusev, what I'm going to get from this is Rusev is upset that Lana accepted the challenge, but Lana said you shouldn't have probably done that. And I didn't have a choice because Cena was going to hurt you, and then he told her to get out. That's kind of what I got from it. But they said it all in Russian, so I couldn't understand it. Alright. So then we get Xavier Woods and Big E with Kofi Kingston versus Cesaro and Tyson Kidd with Natalya. New Day, Big E, Kidd, and Woods cut a promo. No, Big E, Kingston, and Woods cut a promo and saying that they're going to go to the top of the tag team division when they beat Kidd and Cesaro tonight. And they had Natalya out there. and Natalia accidentally distracts Tyson Kidd. Xavier Woods plants Tyson Kidd face first on the mat and gets the win, so they have like a victory over the tag champs. So afterwards, Naomi with the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, have a match with Natalia, with Cesaro and Kidd. It was actually a decent match. Natalia gets one spot I liked was when Natalia dropped Naomi when she did a split, and then she drop kicked her. So I thought that was cool. And then Natalia gets Naomi in a sharpshooter, and then she throws her right into the turnbuckle, and she goes turnbuckle, and Tyson Kidd's checking on her. And Cesaro is contract to the Usos, and one of them jumps off the ropes and goes after Cesaro, and the other one super kicks Kidd, and then Naomi hits the rear view on Natalia for the win. So then the Usos, with Naomi, have a match with Los Matadors, which consists of Diego and Fernando, and they had El Torito out there in the corner. The Bull gets up on the apron, and one of the Matadors rolls up one of the Usos for the win. It was actually not that bad of a match. What I like about this is it makes all the tag teams look like a threat, I guess, because I was thinking, the Usos are obviously going to win. So I'm happy that I guess they didn't win, because I think the Los Matadors are going to do some sort of Fatal 4-Way match with Xavier Woods and Big E, some sort of tag team championship match with Xavier Woods and Big E, or with somebody from the New Day. The Usos and the Matadors versus Cesaro and Kidd. I don't know if they're going to somehow try to squeeze the Ascension, which is Connor and Victor, into this mix or what, but we'll see. So then Seth Rollins and J&J Security are backstage, and J&J Security is still not sure about Randy Orton. They still think that he's sketchy, but Seth Rollins says he's fine. We got this. If he was going to turn on me, you already would have done it by now. And he says, why would he give away his plans if he was going to do this here? And he says, remember, who was the one that destroyed the Shield? And who's the one that brought the Authority back to power? They say, you did. So then he says, we got this tonight. So then Bray Wyatt cuts a promo. And he says that The Undertaker, pretty much the same stuff, that he's gone, that he has a chance to be resurrected at Mania, that he never thought he'd lose, all that stuff. And he says that if he's not going to come out, he's going to try to bring his spirit out, and he has the urn out there, and he opens it, and nothing happens. But then, like, smoke starts to come out of the urn, as we see, like, a bunch of lightning bolts kind of happen. And then one strike, and then the Undertaker's, like, gone thing hits, the dun. And then we see Bray Wyatt's walking chairs in the ring. And then we see on the Titantron, it says, the man comes around. And WrestleMania 31, the man comes around. That's what it says. And then you hear the Undertaker say, rest in peace. And then the chair sets on fire. And Bray Wyatt's laughing. I thought this was great stuff. This was definitely the most they've done with this feud, obviously, because this is the first we heard it from Undertaker. And now we finally have it confirmed that it's going to be Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt at Mania. I'm looking forward to the match because of the build-up, but in a way I'm not, but I'm going to explain that more later in a different video. So then we get the main event, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and Randy Orton with J&J Security ringside. This wasn't a bad match. J&J Security tried to attack Roman Reigns, but the referee sees him, and this distracts the ref, but Roman Reigns is still able to attack Rollins. One point, Randy Orton can cheap shot Roman Reigns from behind when the ref's not looking, but he doesn't do it, and the J&J Security tell him to do it, and Randy Orton says, you don't tell me what to do, and he punches Jamie Noble in the face, and Seth Rollins kicks him out, tells him to go backstage. Me and Randy have got this, so they do. So then Seth Rollins hits an enziguri on Roman Reigns, and he goes to tag Orton in the match. Orton doesn't tag in, and Seth Rollins is like, you're just playing around, right? You're just playing around, you're just kidding. And then Randy Orton flips off Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns spears Rollins for the win. And then afterwards, Randy Orton just starts to beat the absolute crap out of Seth Rollins. And he beats him up. He does uppercuts to him. He throws him into the steel steps a couple of times. He bounces his head off the steps. He clotheslines him. He does a bunch of uppercuts. He throws him in the timekeeper's area. He, in the crowd, he hits him with a chair a crap load of times. And during this, he's like, did you really think I was going to join your family? Did you really think that you were going to get away with what you did to me? He was just really torturing Seth Rollins. He does the rope DDT, but he does it off the barricade instead. He throws him over the announce table, and he goes head first into the barricade. And then he hits an RKO through the table. And that's it. That was the end of the show. And I thought the beatdown was great. He really tortured Seth Rollins here, and it was great stuff of him torturing Seth Rollins. He was just torturing him, and it made him like really feel the pain like Seth Rollins did to him. So I thought that was great stuff, and I can't wait to see the Mania match now. I hope now it's going to really intensify. I think they should. That if they had done this sooner, that it would have been so much better, but they didn't. In a way, I like it because it was the mind games of Randy Orton, and it was a perfect setup because you had Corporate Kane and Big Show get kicked out, and then J&J Security weren't there, so he had to do it here because if he didn't, he would have looked like an idiot. But I thought it was great stuff. So then after the show, they had something on the network. They had John Cena's interview, and he gets interviewed, and he says that he wasn't planning on getting the match at Mania. He was just He said Stephanie McMahon was right. Competing at WrestleMania is not a right, it's a privilege. But he didn't care. He wanted to hurt Rusev. And once he got the match at Mania, it sunk in that he could just do it at Mania and beat Rusev and shut him up. And then he says that he's going to take back the United States Championship to the United States. He's happy to cost Rusev his first loss, and yeah, that was about it. He didn't really say anything else. I don't really think this needed to be on the network. I mean, it was literally like 2 minutes long. They could have squeezed this on the show and take out Wes Khalifa, but nope, they decided to put this on the network instead. So overall, let me think what I thought of Raw this week. Like, I'm gonna say it was like a, I don't know, like I'm gonna say it was a decent show because he had some good matches in here, like Randy Orton turning on Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt attacking Undertaker, Daniel Bryan beating Bad News Barrett, Ambrose beating Stardust, and the Paul Heyman promo, and the Bray Wyatt Undertaker stuff was good. The Wes Khalifa stuff was just crap. I didn't really care for the Bella Twins interview. I'll say it was a good show because I'm actually finding more good than bad, so it's gotta be something. And at least they tried to keep the storylines all together. I noticed, like, they had the IC title stuff, they did that, like, they just put it in, like, together, like, they built that up all at once, they didn't just separate it. And they did the tag team title stuff together, they did the Rusev stuff together, so they didn't, like, split things up throughout the show, so I would say it was a good show this week. Now that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back at some point this week to give you another video. And you can click right here to subscribe if you want to see more Raw reviews from me or other videos. And that's pretty much it, guys. See you later.